Welcome to the Soul Session with Samira Seraphini. You landed here for a reason. You're ready to heal your heart, embody authentic confidence, and soften into your feminine energy. It's time to live in true alignment and manifest a blissful life. Let's begin. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Soul Session. I'm Samira Seraphini, intuitive therapist and creator of the Soul Method. If this is your first time here, hi. I'm really glad you found this. And if you've been here before, welcome back. So happy to have you here. Okay, so today's episode is a little different. And honestly, I almost didn't record it because I thought, will people think this is weird? Intuitive spiritual therapist talking about AI? But then I thought, no, this is actually one of the most useful things I can share right now because I've been using it in my own practice, in my own healing, and it's been genuinely eye-opening. So here we are. Welcome to the possibly the most unexpected episode of the Soul Session. This episode is AI for the Soul. Using artificial intelligence for inner work, clarity, and emotional healing. And I want to start with a question. What if AI could help you see patterns in your life that would normally take years of therapy to uncover? Not because AI is smarter than your therapist, but because it has no ego, no pity for your story. It just reflects back what's actually there. And sometimes that's exactly what we need. Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself in the same situation again and again? Like different person, same dynamic, different job, same frustration, different month, but same pattern of lacking money? You know, when you buy a financial organization course, really committed this time, and 3 weeks later, you're still making the same impulsive purchase, wondering what happened? That loop, that's what I'm talking about. Or maybe you've been on a spiritual path for a while. You meditate, you journal, you know your attachment style. You could probably write a thesis on your childhood wounds, and yet something still hasn't moved. Here's what I know from 7 years of working with women in deep healing. Understanding your pattern is not the same as releasing it. You can know everything about why you do something and still do it because the mind that created the loop cannot fully see itself from inside the loop. You need a mirror, a different angle, something outside of the system. And that's where AI comes in a way I didn't expect it. What I'm sharing today isn't theory. It's actually what I use in my own inner work, in my own healing journey. So as you know, I work with family constellation, somatic therapy, theta healing, transurfing, deep systemic work. And I still use AI as one of my cognitive mirrors. Not instead of the deep work, but alongside it. Because there is a type of clarity that AI can offer. Fast, cold, without judgment. That frees up your intuition to do what it does best. So, today I'm going to share 3 specific ways I use AI for inner work. Real techniques, things you can do this week. Here's our session today. First, a quick reflection on AI as a tool and why intention is everything. Then, 3 practices. 1. How to use AI to identify patterns, blind spots, and secondary gains. The hidden reason you're still in the same situation you say you want to leave. 2. Ego states and psychological games, specifically the Karpman drama triangle, which I promise will make you see relationships in a very different way. And 3, what I call systemic permissions, and why these are so much more powerful than regular affirmations. And after that, we'll do a short embodiment practice together because we're going to do a lot of thinking today, and thinking needs to land in the body. And then we'll close and I'll let you go. Okay, so let's take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop and let's get into it. Before the 3 practices, one thing. Every tool is neutral. A knife can cut an apple or cause harm. Social media can isolate you or connect you to exactly the right person. AI can distract you from your inner world or help you see it more clearly. The difference is always the intention and how we manage. And here's something I want you to name: with love, because I've been here too. Sometimes our spiritual practice becomes a way to float above life instead of actually living it. We meditate, but we don't make that difficult phone call. We understand our wound, but don't change the behavior. We acknowledge the pattern, but we keep repeating the same story. My teacher, Brigitte, taught me something I think about all the time. True spirituality connects you to life. It doesn't remove you from it. If your inner work is making you more anxious, more in your head, more disconnected, something has drifted. AI, used with intention, brings something specific to the table. It's analytical, it's structural, it names things clearly. It has zero emotional investment in protecting your ego. And when you combine that with your intuition and your body, the pattern becomes visible in a way that's hard to unsee. Okay, so let's get into the 3 practices. The first way I use AI is to identify patterns, blind spots, and secondary gains. Here's the thing. When you're inside a pattern, you can't see it clearly. That's not weakness, it's just how the mind works. When you are in the middle of the storm, you can't see its shape. So you repeat. Same relationship dynamic, same money loop, same emotional response. And every time a part of you goes, why do I keep doing this? Usually there are 2 layers. The first is the pattern itself, something you absorb, watch, inherited, often rooted in family. older than you realize. The second layer is what we call in therapy a secondary gain. A secondary gain is the hidden reason you are still in the same situation. It is the unconscious benefit of staying exactly where you are. And I know that sounds strange. Who benefits from being stuck, right? But think about it. If I'm in a relationship that's not working and I stay, one possibility is this. As long as I'm focused on what my partner is doing wrong, I don't have to face that the real work is inside me. As long as I have someone to blame, I don't have to take full responsibility. So it is not conscious. It is the nervous system choosing the pain it knows over the uncertainty of something new. Like going out of the comfort zone, even when the comfort zone it's not comfortable. And this is almost impossible to see when you are inside it. This is where AI becomes genuinely useful. Here's the technique. I call it the 3 books exercise. Think of a pattern that keeps repeating in your life. Relationship, money, self-worth. Choose one. Now, don't write about it as yourself. Write it like you are describing characters in 3 books you read. Book 1, your grandmother's story with this team. Book 2, your mother's story. Book 3, you're on, but in third person, as a character, not as you. Then you bring those 3 stories to the AI and ask, what do these 3 stories have in common? What repeats across generations? What might be the secondary gains keeping each character in this situation? And then read what comes back. Not with your analytical mind ready to argue, with your body open to receive. Because AI has no pity for your ego. It just reflects what's there. And sometimes it names something your own mind would never have let you say about yourself. That naming is the beginning of something. It's like a family constellation, but cognitive. You get to see the feud from the outside. And once you see it, it's hard to unsee. The second practice involves ego states and the Karpman drama triangle. A little theory, I'll keep it short, I promise. In transactional analysis developed by psychiatrist Eric Berne, we move between 3 ego states: the parent, the adult, and the child. The parent absorbed the rules and behaviors of our caregivers, nurturing or critical. The child carries our emotions, our early wounds, our creativity, and or our fear. And the adult, this is the state we want, which is present, clear, responsive instead of reactive. When you're not in your adult state, you fall into what Berne called Psychological games, dynamics that feel familiar, but you don't move anything forward. And this connects to the Karpman drama triangle. Three rows. The victim, this has happened to me, I have no power. Persecutor, it's your fault, pointing fingers. And the rescuer, let me fix this, let me save you. We all play these roles, all of us. Not because we're broken, but because we learned them. The rescuer learned that love means being needed. The victim learned that vulnerability brings care. The persecutor learned that control brings safety. These roles keeps us in cycles because they block real intimacy and accountability. Let me give you an example, because this is one of the things that's easier to see in history. Imagine a couple arguing about something small. Dishes in the sink. A late reply. A plan that changed. On the surface, it looks like a practical disagreement. But underneath, something else is happening. She escalates, she gets sharper and more frustrated. And the more she escalates, the more he shuts down and it draws. The more he draws, the more she escalates. Sound familiar? What's actually happening is an ego state dance. She may be operating from her rebel child, the part of her that never felt heard, that learned the only way to be taken seriously was to get louder. He may have shifted into critical parent, into drawing, judging, closing off. Neither of them is trying to hurt the other, but neither of them is in their adult state either. And so the real conversation, the one about what she actually needs, what he actually feels, never happens because the game gets in the way. And I want to share something personal here because I think it matters to be honest with you, not just share the frameworks. I once used AI to help understand a dynamic in my own relationship because I was in a situation where I couldn't express my emotional needs with self-responsibility. Instead of saying, I feel this, I need that, I was getting triggered, and that was activating my rebel child. And the moment I did, my partner's energy would shift into critical parent. And then we were stuck, both of us in rows, neither of us actually connecting. When I described this to AI, without names, without sharing my personal life, just writing in third person, it reflected back something I couldn't see from the inside. That when I didn't give myself permission to have needs, I expressed them sideways, through distance, through a sharp edge, through withdrawal. And that was activating something in him that had to do with feeling rejected. And I'm sharing this because I've been doing this work for years. So I had years of therapy and constellation work and deep inner inquiry. And I still have my own processes. I still have my soul lessons. And that's not failure. That's me just being human. And the work continued to unfold. So if you recognize yourself in any of this, please don't use it as a evidence that you are broken or that the healing isn't working. Use it as information, as a direction to look. But back to AI. Here's what I ask when I want to understand a dynamic. Based on this situation, and then you describe it briefly, what ego states might be operating? Where this person may be playing the victim, the persecutor, or the rescuer. And here's the key. You read the answer to understand yourself and the other person. Because the moment you can see your own role in this, the game changes. Not because you become perfect, but because you can pretend you didn't see it. That's the adult state. That's your place of power. The third practice is my favorite. And honestly, it's changed how I think about affirmations completely. You know the classic affirmations, right? I am beautiful, I am abundant, I attract my perfect partner. They're not wrong, but for a lot of us, they bounce right off. And here's why. If somewhere in your body, in your nervous system, or in your lineage, there is a deep belief that love feels unsafe, saying I am loved every morning creates friction. Your system hears it and immediately pushes back because you're trying to create something new on top of something that was never cleared. What works better, much, much better, it's what I call systemic permissions. Instead of saying, I am, you say, I give myself permission to. I give myself permission to receive without guilt. I give myself permission to disappoint someone and still be whole. I give myself permission to stop struggling as proof that I deserve good things. I give myself permission to let life be a little easier than I was thought it should be. Feel the difference? The first kind asserts something new. The second kind gives your nervous system space to soften into something it already senses is possible, but hasn't felt safe enough to allow it. Here's how I create this with AI. So you take a pattern you identify or something you've been working on in your healing journey and ask AI. Based on this pattern, and you describe it briefly, what might be the core beliefs or inner prohibitions keeping this in place? Create 5 to 10 systemic permissions, starting with I give myself permission to, that speak to the root of this, not just the surface. Then you read them slowly, one at a time, with your hand on your heart. Notice which ones your body resists. Those are the ones. The permissions that make you want to cry, or that your mind immediately argues with, that's where the door is. Because your soul doesn't need to be convinced. It just needs space to unfold. Okay, I want to pause here and say something honest. AI can show you the pattern. It can name the ego state and it can offer the permission. But it cannot sit with you in the moment your body finally lets go of something it's been carrying for years. It cannot hold the field when something ancestral moves through you and resolves. And it cannot read your energetic system and know exactly where the root leaves. And that's the work that I do. In the Soul Session, my private 101, we go deeper than what the mind can organize. We work with your lineage, your nervous system, your family field, systemically, somatically, energetically. If the patterns we've been talking about today feel very familiar, if you recognize yourself somewhere in the drama triangle, or if there is a loop, you've been trying to break for a long time, you don't have to figure this out alone. The application is in the show notes. It's a 15-minute private session, just you and me. No pressure. The door is open if you feel the quiet yes. Okay, before we close, let's come back into the body. We've done a lot of rational thinking today. Patterns, ego states, permission. The mind has been active and working hard. The thing about cognitive work, if it stays in the head, it doesn't really land. The body needs to move it through. So I want you to do something simple with you right now. If you're somewhere you can move, please actually do this. Don't just listen. Stand up if you can. Feel your feet on the floor. Think of one thing that came up for you in this episode. One moment where you thought, uh-oh, that's me. Just one. Let it come naturally. Now, I want to shake your body. You can start with your hands and then your arms, and you can let it be a little awkward or messy. Imagine you're shaking off the dust of old loyalties that were never really yours to carry in the first place. Just keep it going. Now take a moment to slow down. Slow the movement. And then you stop. Take a long breath in and out through the mouth with sound, like you can make noise. One more. Place one hand on your heart and say this 3 times. Out loud if you can. I see myself clearly, and I give myself permission to change. Again. I see myself clearly, and now I give myself permission to change. Feel your feet, feel your hand on your heart. You're here. You did something real today for yourself. If you want to go deeper with this kind of inner work, with practices designed to help you regulate, reflect, and realign, I created the Becoming You Activation Workbook for exactly this. It's a free 5-day companion guide with somatic practices, journaling prompts, and integration exercises to help you embody what you are learning, not just understanding intellectually. You can download it for free in the show notes. Let's bring this together before I let you go. We started with a simple but important truth. Understanding a pattern is not the same as being free from it. And sometimes the most useful thing is just a clear mirror. And that's what AI can be for you. Not a replacement for therapy, not a spiritual bypass. A cognitive tool that does the analytical heavy lifting for you so that your intuition has something clear to work with. The 3 practices: 1, the 3 books exercise, where you write your pattern as a 3 third-person stories, and then you ask AI what repeats, what the secondary gains might be, and let it show you the field from the outside. The second is the ego states and the drama triangle. So you ask AI to help you see which role you are playing, not to judge yourself, but to come back to your adult state, your place of power. And last but not least, the third is systemic permissions, not the I am affirmations, but the I give myself permission to, where you ask AI to create permissions that speak to the root of your pattern so you can read them slowly and see where in your body you can notice resistance or shifts. And then you can work with ones that make you more comfortable or not. Here's the before and after I want you to live with. Before, you're inside the loop. You can see yourself repeating, but you cannot see why. You cannot see the shape of it from the inside. And after, you have a mirror, you have language, you have a direction to look. And with direction comes choice. Not forced change, not another thing to fix, just the ability to see and the quiet freedom that comes with that. The AI does the analytical work so that you, with your intuition, your body, your presence, can do what only you can do. And that's the partnership I wanted to share today. One last thing before I go. If something today stirs something in you, a pattern you recognize, a loop you are tired of, I want to remind you that this kind of work goes much deeper when you're not doing it alone. In the soul session, we go to the root, the ancestral layer, the nervous system, and the field. We work deep until something actually releases, not just get understood by the mind. And if you're ready for that, the application is in the show notes. A 15-minute private session. Just us. And if you want to keep going with your own practice, the Becoming You Activation Workbook is free for you to download in the show notes. Subscribe to the newsletter if you want reflections like this straight to your inbox each week. Share this episode with one person who needs it today. And if you're enjoying the podcast, a review means so much. It helps more women find their way here. You can find all links in the description. And if you made it here, you are already doing the work. And that matters more than you know. I see you in the next session. Sending you so much love. Remember that softness is your superpower. If you made it to the end of this episode, it means you're truly committed to healing your heart and living in true alignment. I see you, and I'm so proud of you. Make sure to subscribe to the Soul Session so you never miss our weekly time together. And if you enjoy what you heard, please leave a review and share your biggest takeaway. I'd love to hear from you. For exclusive content straight to your inbox, subscribe to my weekly newsletter. And if you're ready to quantum leap into your next level, book a one-on-one session with me. You'll find all links in the description. Thank you for being here. Sending you so much love. Until next time.